Okay. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Great Barrington Affordable Housing Trust Fund will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information in the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website at www.townofgb.org. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen to the meeting may do so by following the instructions above. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so despite best efforts, we will post to the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting.
So the only thing I'm going to do is ask Jane to give her report on the rental assistance program. I think you all have that in your packet. Were there any questions?
Well, Jane is doing a great job as usual.
It's definitely a team effort.
Yeah. So I know we had talked a little bit about whether we were going to apply for more rental assistance money, and I said that the trust wasn't going to because we were just sort of an intermediary. I think that the CPA would still be open to something if you wanted to apply, Jane.
Okay, for some reason I was under the impression that because the CPA had granted the broader use for the down payment assistance that this would not be the case. But I know that there weren't any affordable housing requests, so we can definitely pull something together.
Yeah, I would talk to Chris Rembold and just see what he has to say.
Great, great. I think June's already doing that.
Okay. Anything
Bill,
else?
how much do we have left of that 100,000?
Let's see.
Are we at the point where we've exhausted the funds?
No.
Nowhere near.
Nowhere near it.
And not even the ones that you've awarded to us. We've spent 27, 825, 80 of yours. So we don't have a lot left in the amount that was for giving out. A little over $2,000 are left in the actual assist, but we do have other funds. However, it's definitely Great Barrington provides an awful lot of the affordable housing, and therefore we've had more applicants from Great Barrington as well.
Okay. There's still about, you haven't gone much into that 100,000?
We haven't. We haven't used up the original 35.
Okay, that's great.
And I want to. Oh, actually, I want to say 31,000 of that was set aside to give out. So there's about 3,000 left in that. That may be gone already. I know we did some October assists.
Okay. I think that's it then. Thank you.
I guess if I could say one other thing.
Yes.
I don't know if it's the purview of this committee, but I think any ways that towns can support the eviction moratorium remaining in place that will ease the hardship and the bottleneck of folks seeking rental assistance. So I don't know if that's within your purview, but it's certainly something I'm encouraging folks to do. Right now it's set to expire October 17th.
Right. Okay, thank you, Jane. Let's approve the minutes while we're here. Do them one at a time. July 21st, does anyone have any changes, corrections? Anyone other than me, I guess. I have one. No, okay. I do have one correction, Shep, on the July 21st minutes page.
Yep. Yep.
I believe June Wolf said that Habitat is talking about 14 to 20 units, not Construct.
Okay, wait a second.
The Construct is intending to bid on this project.
Where on the page, Bill?
Page 2, very first sentence. Ms. Wolf reminded.
Oh, okay. Habitat?
Habitat, not Construct.
Okay.
Can I have a motion to accept those minutes?
Second.
Who made the motion?
John made the motion. I made the second.
Motion by Fred. All in favor, it's a roll call vote. Larissa?
Aye.
Fred?
Aye.
John?
Yes,
And aye. August 29th minutes, any changes, corrections? Okay, I have one on that too.
Yeah. It's okay.
Actually, the very last sentence.
Okay.
I remarked that town meeting. You have that sentence, Jeff? Very last sentence in the minutes, I believe. Oh, no, not quite. Just before citizens speak.
And that the town meeting subject is already in the RFP? Yes,
Yes.
go ahead.
I believe it already said yes, but I think it should say that the neighborhood meeting
Ah, okay.
is already in the meeting at number 8 of the evaluation criteria, just so it's clear. That's all I've got. If nobody else has anything, I'll ask for a motion to approve those minutes too.
so moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Larissa?
Aye.
John? Fred?
Aye.
And I. Okay, it's unanimous. Moving right.
Well,
We need to set some dates, but I wanted to know if anybody had any concerns about the RFP that we need to discuss before we ship it out. You all had a chance to review it, I assume.
I'm happy with it.
You're happy with it?
I'm happy with it.
Everyone's happy with it. All right, so we still need to fill in the dates. I believe this is essentially ready to go. So I would say we can issue the RFP. Let's make it Monday, so let Chris have a chance to do whatever he needs to do, which would be 11th. Of October.
Monday's the 12th.
Make it the 12th?
Monday's the 12th. Yeah.
Oh, Monday's the 12th. Okay, so we'll make it the 12th then.
Monday is a holiday.
Oh, right. Why don't we just make it the 15th? That's a nice, easy number. It's the middle of the month. We'll send it out on the 15th.
Thursday.
That way Chris won't be bogged down. So, do we want to make it the middle, or I guess maybe the end of October? Middle of October for inquiries? Or,
No, you're issuing it on the middle of October.
yeah, end of
Now,
October
normally-
for inquiries?
Normally, we put these things out for 4 weeks and have inquiries. If I were doing this, I'd put it out for 3 to 4 weeks, and in
For
the middle,
inquiry?
have it out for inquiries.
So the 30th of October for inquiries?
Is that a drop dead date?
Not necessarily. But we should put something in there.
Basically, inquiries need to be completed before a week before the final deadline, so that you have time to respond to them and get the information out to all of the interested parties.
Okay.
But
so this is going out on the 15th, which is Thursday. So if we make, how about November 5th?
sounds
Yeah.
good.
All right.
Inquiries by November 5th.
Yeah. And then submission deadline. We need to do more than a month. Yeah, James not here. John, what do you do with the CDC? Do you go for a month or does it take longer than that?
It can take longer. But I think in this case, a month would probably be sufficient.
Are we asking for qualifications for the first round, or are we asking for detailed proposals? I guess I should know that.
We're actually for a detailed proposal, really. So that's November 5th. How about the 1st of, well, let's see.
Bill, the RFP says the deadline to submit everything is November 20th.
Yes, that's got to be, that's subject to us fixing this because
Okay,
that should have been XX whatever. But,
okay.
well, if the deadline for the inquiries is 5th, we could make it, what do you say we make it 2 weeks after that, the 19th of November? That way we get it in before Thanksgiving,
Before Thanksgiving.
and that's 6 weeks out. I'd really like to get this, get proposals back before the end of the year.
In a way, it doesn't make any sense to extend it to like December 2nd or something, because you got the Thanksgiving holiday and you really don't get a whole lot of extra time to work on it.
Right.
So right before Thanksgiving, I think is fine. I think 6 weeks out on the street is fine.
Okay, so I'll put it down for the 19th, unless there's any objection.
Are we going to do a walkthrough or a site visit at all?
Only if they want to.
It's not mandatory?
No. And then proposal presentations, maybe that could be early December.
December 15th, something like that. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but
Yeah, I do. Oh, if we're taking, we have to meet after the proposals are in and vote. So let's see, that was November 19th. Hey, Shep, is there something in that room that's going? A machine? Somebody have a machine going?
No. There's a timer outside the door, outside here that I think you
Washing machine.
tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
It's a timer that does something out in front of town hall. I don't know what it is.
Okay. Anyhow.
I hear it.
So everything comes in to us on the 19th. Oh, and I guess they'll still do a presentation. So that should be shortly after that, I imagine. We should have a meeting the week after Thanksgiving. That work for everyone, do you think? Anybody going to be gone for that week?
I think
First,
we'll
second,
also
third of
be in
December.
our houses.
Say what?
I think we'll still be in our houses.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. All right, well, we'll aim for a meeting.
December 3rd.
Yeah, I'm just going through this minute. Actually, we still have to schedule proposals. I suppose we don't vote until we see the proposals, huh? Presentations. But we could make that. I guess, do we want to see what we get and then tell people when the proposals will be? I'm trying to figure out the sequence of events here.
Yeah, Bill, when you talk about presentations, are you talking about presentations of the proposals to us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But I would imagine that if something was submitted and we didn't accept it, then they wouldn't do a proposal.
Right.
So we still have to have a meeting before we do that then. Okay.
So we need a meeting after November 19th.
Yes. And I would suggest the week after Thanksgiving.
December 3rd. Oh, wait.
December 3rd sounds good to me.
I'm muted. I'm not muted.
Although that might be a planning board day, in which case Garfield can't be here. I think it's the 1st and 3rd. Hang on, let me check something. I'm going to make sure there's not a planning board meeting that day.
Are we allowed to hold meetings on Fridays?
Yes, we can hold a meeting any day we want, as long as we can get a quorum together. I'm just going to check that Thursday. Planning board. Here we go. Heck, doesn't say.
So what day are we talking about, Bill?
The Thursday, the 3rd of December.
Okay.
But I have a feeling that conflicts with the planning board, but I don't see anything that tells me when the planning board is meeting. I have a feeling it's the 1st and 3rd. Did everyone do that Wednesday? 2nd?
Planning board is scheduled for December 10th.
Okay, then we can do the 3rd.
Okay, good.
Is the 3rd good with everyone? Well, 3, about the same time.
So that's when we have the presentation.
Well, that's when we meet to decide if we've got an acceptable proposal.
Or 2.
Or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Deadline is which day? November 1.
And then the presentations would probably be the week after that. I would imagine the proposals will all be done. Why don't we make the 15th? Tuesday the 15th, does that work for proposals?
15th of December?
The 15th of December, yes.
If not,
What day of the week?
Yeah, we get into some tricky.
that doesn't work for me, the 15th or 16th or 17th.
Well, why don't we just have the proposals on the 3rd of December?
Okay.
If we have multiple people proposing stuff.
You just have a big meeting.
What? Oops, sorry, I just muted you by mistake. Where'd you go? There you are.
The noise went away too.
Yes, that's what I was doing, but then now I can't unmute him. I think you have to unmute yourself, Shep. I can't seem to unmute you. There you go.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. What were you about to say when I muted you?
What I was about to say was if you have a number of people presenting, and you got good proposals from 2 or 3 people, you just have a mega meeting, that's all.
Yes. But we all have to be there too. So I'm thinking that the 3rd of December.
It's an all-skate meeting.
It's a what?
All skate.
All right. And then our selection meeting, we can decide that, but we probably ought to pick a date for that. It gets, anybody know they're going to be away in December for any period of time?
My only possible conflict with scheduling is the police chief recruitment committee. That is, all of that will be decided before Christmas. And I think we start at the end of this month, but.
Well, let's pick a tentative date and we'll see if anybody can make it. John, are you around for December?
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Okay.
But I'm not, I can tell you, I'm not available the 14th, 15th, or 16th.
All right. How about the 8th or 9th?
Those are okay.
All right. Let's shoot for Wednesday the 9th. Okay. And that will be the selection when we vote on the RFP. And Garfield still hasn't appeared. Well, that's too bad. So I will correct the numbers on instructions for submissions as well.
Okay, so the developer selection is the 8th and the 9th.
Yes.
Okay.
The developer selection, I have it down for December 9th. So the board would be meeting on the 3rd and the 9th of December.
Right.
And on the 9th, we will make our decision regarding the proposal for the RFP. All right. That was easier than I thought it was going to be. Nobody had any changes or anything, so that's good. Perhaps we should have a motion to accept this with the dates. Then we can ship it out. Anybody want to make a motion?
I just did. I just did, Bill.
Oh, okay. Second?
Second.
Sure, second.
Okay. All in favor? Larissa? Fred?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And I. Okay, we've accepted this as our final version of the RFP. It'll go out next week. I do have an update on the 40 Grove Street house. It is actually with the legal eagles of the town who are figuring out how to give it to the trust so that we can then issue an RFP for that. That we'll probably take up in January because nobody's going to do anything with the house over the winter anyhow. It's all winterized, all the water's drained out of the pipes, so it's just going to sit there for the winter. And the other thing I have is CPC application for next year. Does anybody have any thoughts on what we might want to ask for, since we haven't asked for any money this year? thoughts?
You want to try for money to buy properties?
Yes.
Has not round, step one already happened?
Yes, I'm talking about next year. We don't really have anything to apply for at this point.
Right.
Okay, yeah, all right. Fiscal 22.
Fiscal 22, yes.
This
Yeah.
is the two we're talking about.
And
No.
we could still go in for some money since there were no other applicants for affordable housing.
Okay.
We can still put something in for this year if you want.
Yeah, that's early November.
Well, it would have to be, we'd have to decide to do it at this meeting and I'd have to submit it
Yeah, right.
if they would accept it.
But the deadline, if they would accept it, is early November.
Yeah, we'd have to put a proposal together. I mean, the only one I have is the idea about buying up properties on the low end and doing a rehab, putting it back on the market with a deed restriction that's permanently affordable. Would probably cost us $100,000 to do each house. I'm just guessing that's a ballpark because you would eventually sell it to the people that would be able to purchase it. So you'd make most of your money back, but you'd still be out. You have to sort of discount it and bring it up to code. So I'm thinking at least 100 grand per house to do that. I mean, you probably want to ask for about 500,000 to do the first house and have a little money to roll over, maybe do a second house.
That includes 40 Grove.
It includes what?
That will include 40 Grove.
No, 40 Grove is a separate deal. Going to issue an RFP for that, and somebody else is going to handle it.
Okay.
I can't see it being accepted, Bill.
Well, I mean,
Can't see it. I can't see it in this climate until we have a track record.
that's right. So that's why I didn't put anything forward.
I think
We
you
could
know
take
we
off for
can
next year.
continue to think about what we could do for 2022. There may be some other ideas that we can come up with. Something like if a developer wants to develop affordable housing, we could somehow or other figure out a subsidy or a partial ownership of the like a conservation restriction that has a dollar value on it that we offer as a financing incentive.
Right.
A developer is building $250,000 houses.
Mhm.
We buy an affordable housing restriction on that unit for $50,000 a unit. The developer uses it to build the money and is restricted in selling it to only affordable people.
Okay, except I don't think anybody's building $250,000 houses. That's the problem. But you know, if it's a bigger development, maybe we can get something out of it.
Well, I mean, I think we've determined that our place in the marketplace is the home ownership place.
Yeah.
That if Construct or the other housing or anything, they can come directly to CPC. They don't need to go through us.
That's true.
I don't know.
I mean, basically, I pretty much agree with Fred. I don't think we're going to get much, if anything, from the CPC homeowners. maybe 40 Grove aside.
What is the, like, how long do we have to submit something for 2022?
Oh, we got a year for that.
Yeah, okay.
That goes next year.
October.
And we're going to have plenty of work to do with the MassWorks grant for the Alden property. I've gotten some good contacts. The woman that got the MassWorks grant for Habitat up in Pittsfield. We talked with her.
Well, I am sure, I know there are plenty of other things that the town of Great Barrington can spend money on, but I'm sure that affordable housing will come up in the discussion with the committee who was just appointed to determine what to do with the pot money.
Oh, yeah.
And Garfield was just appointed to that with a few other people.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we need public parking and other things, but that might be another source of assistance for us.
Yeah. That's the impact money. It's going to make, it's a little tough to make a case for it, but worth a shot. What the heck?
Yeah.
I could just think you're too stoned to go out to work, so you know you can't afford a house. So,
well, maybe. I don't know about that either. I don't know what they're going to spend that money on. Well, anybody have anything else? This could be a very short meeting. This is like a record time meeting.
Oh, actually, I have a question. Jane mentioned something about the eviction moratorium. Can we or the select board write a letter in support of that? Or did you guys already do that, Bill?
I don't think the select board has done that, but I'm not absolutely certain. We have talked about it. Oh, I'll check with Steve. I think we could do something like that.
It's a state thing, right? Not
Yeah.
a federal, yeah, okay. Yeah, if the select board doesn't do it, maybe we should write a letter to Kelly and mine.
Would you like to draft it?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, you're on it. I suppose we should take a vote as to whether we should do that or not. All correct, everything.
We could do it under the rental assistance program that we have with Construct. Because that's what the evictions are really about.
Yeah. And you know, Construct,
You might not have to ask for anything.
right. And Construct has, they still have $100,000 if they want it from us
That's right.
for rental assistance.
Which would help, we might be able to help in the eviction process.
Yeah.
With that money without doing anything.
Yeah, because the, I think that stay is temporary and you're going to owe all your back rent when that's removed.
Okay, let me look into it some more. I'll send you an email, Bill.
Okay. We have general agreement from the group that we should do this letter.
I would prefer that we sign under somebody else's letter and not be a solo act in this.
No?
But
I'll look into it, and if I find if I find that it's a good idea, and I want to read a little bit more about it. So
Okay.
I'll reach out to Bill, and if we think discussion is necessary.
maybe we could get buy-in from all of the like the Lenox and Williamstown affordable housing trusts, so that it comes more broadly. I don't know.
Well, if we can get that together before the 17th, we can do it.
I'll look into it and send you an email, Bill.
Okay.
There must be somebody statewide who's organizing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be. Does, Larissa, does anybody have any idea how many households we're talking about in Great Barrington?
Oh, yes. I have that here somewhere. I believe it was about 40.
40?
That are evictions or are rental
Well,
That
assistance?
we're giving rental assistance to.
No, but without evictions.
Great Barrington, there's no evictions. Great Barrington, there were 49 households and 31 landlords involved.
But nobody wants it to ever come to an eviction. The landlords don't want it. The tenants don't want it.
Right. And we've been able to, or Construct has been able to keep landlords and tenants, the landlord says, okay, I'll take a little bit less, and then Construct gives him the money, and then not out any money out of their pocket. So
Yeah, I mean, most of these landlords are small businessmen or mom and pops or,
right,
local people. They're just, they're trying to pay their bills too.
right.
So it's a win-win for our community. Construct's been really good about finding money sources that they use primarily for first money before they dip into local funds.
Okay. Anything else?
Mary Pat, are you familiar with the state eviction program?
I read all the, you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you can. Yes, I read all the
I'm going to
notes.
mute you, Shep, for a minute.
I read all the notes that came through in the past week. One thing I was thinking relative to the following year and what we talked about at town meeting relative to tiny houses.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if, in fact, there might be some synergy about acquiring property and maybe putting in infrastructure and septic, and then, offering, a tiny house is an affordable opportunity for people to own and provide some flexibility. I don't know what our role exactly, but it could be an interesting development opportunity for us, affordable.
Yeah.
I don't know, something to think about, and make it could be really cool to put a structure and then X amount of tiny house plots around and, ownership. I don't know, just thinking about it.
Would they be tiny plots?
I think it would be, you guys, I used to live across from the E.F. Schumacher in the Forest Row area, and they lease the land. They don't own the land, but they own their, just like we're talking about.
Mhm.
And I think you would have plots that were based on what your perk could get with your septic, really, and what you get out of it. Or if we did it in town, closer into town, to tie up with town water, that might be more difficult. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah.
It comes down to the land, though, doesn't it? All the time.
It does.
It always does.
Anyway, so yes, that's what I was just observing.
Okay.
I still think, Bill, that we have the 100,000 with Construct that we could help in the eviction area.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, we've already
It's
essentially given them the go-ahead to spend that money.
Yeah,
Got approved by the CPC. So
right.
that's available to them as they need it. And I guess they're going to need it.
They're going to need it.
So anything else?
Yeah, I guess if we think about COVID times and when this might happen, anything that we do for 2022 is not going to be available till July of 23? No,
Yeah.
21?
Yeah.
That's correct.
22, July of 22. And I don't know, we could make a pitch that we need another 100,000 starting next July, that this 100,000 that Construct has will take us through 6 months or 9 months. But we can't wait until then to make another pitch, because we're talking 18 months out before we get, the 22 money.
Yeah.
So, the only thing I can think of is have a discussion about rental assistance, eviction support for the 2022 year, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
July of 21. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that I think we'd have a fairly good chance of getting that.
So, but
And I think
I'm not ready to do it yet. So.
Right, and I think Jane was intending to go ahead and put something in for this year. She said June was already working on it. They're going to do see if they can get something in.
In a lot of ways, it comes better for that. We had the money sitting in our account.
Right. Right. And we just had to make it available.
We have another 100,000 or 75,000 that's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
We might as well put it to work.
Indeed.
If needed.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
So, anything else from anyone? Or we have media time or citizen speak time? Eileen, anything?
Nothing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mary Pat, you're like a citizen so far. So do you have anything?
No,
You're good.
okay.
All right, then I think we can call it a wrap.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for making the necessary votes. And
Do you need a roll call vote to close the meeting? We don't.
no, I can just close it unless anyone has an objection.
Objection.
Is that right, Shep? I can't seem to unmute Shep. I don't know. I pushed the button that says unmute, but he doesn't unmute.
Well, he'll do it himself.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, hearing no objection, Mr. Cook adjourned the meeting at 6:15.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Enjoy.